Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. This is Daily Trading Analysis with a quick market update for today, July 18th. We are going to review first economic data, no big data coming up today, but I have a lot of earnings to review, a lot of news from Microsoft that are skyrocketing the Nasdaq. And let me tell you, I have some big technical analysis to do because basically big participants are all in Microsoft. But first, economic data. Today, retail sales month over month came a little bit lower than expected, and I think this hit the market into the open. We are going to see that later in the charts, that we open in the red due to retail sales being weaker than expected, both month over month, excluding autos, and also year over year, 1.50. We are now in a point in which retail sales and bad news from the consumer side are bad news for the economy, because we are all convinced, most people are convinced, that inflation is being beaten down. We are beating the inflation, but the issue right now is entering into a recession or not. So bad news for the economy are bad news. Bad news from the consumer side and the labor market is bad news for the economy, and we are trying to avoid a recession. So manufacturing production also in the negative, also bad news for the market. Year over year also in the negative, and industrial production also in the negative. So all bad news today were bearish news for the market, and we are going to see that in the charts. But first, let's review earnings, as always, starting with the banks. Today, Bank of America, Charles Schwab, and Morgan Stanley were the ones that everyone was watching. And let me tell you, they didn't disappoint. Bank of America tops analyst expectations, with obviously a common part of every bank is higher income due to higher interest rates. Earnings per share beating, revenue beating, and look at this. Revenue climbed 11% to 25 billion, fueled by 14% jump in net interest income. Insane. Bank of America, we are going to see that in the charts. This is Bank of America is right now 4.50% on the day. Look at huge day for Bank of America. Huge day. And I think a lot of people being Bank of America this down is going to have swing positions into this break of this level of 31, break of the 200, and most probably targeting around 30-40 area. Good news for Bank of America. Next one is Morgan Stanley, also beating estimates with record wealth management revenue. 13.46 revenue versus 13.08 expected, and Morgan Stanley's reliance on wealth management has helped its steady earnings and boosted its valuation relative to peers. Brutal, another one beating the rock. Morgan Stanley, huge candle, almost 6% on the day, and it's not as beaten as Bank of America, and approaching 100 at this level. I think, again, a lot of people is taking positions into banks for the long term. Next one, the last one, Charles Schwab stocks up 12% after second quarter results beat expectations. Another beat from the banks, and basically this is due to a little bit of bad news, because 9% year over year revenue fall due to customers relocating their cash with higher rates, so outflows for them, cash outflows. But if we see the chart, we can really understand the magnitude of this. This was SVB Bank failure. Charles Schwab was in the focus of maybe being the next one to fall, but look at this huge gap on earnings, approaching 65, and I think a lot of people is going to see today's earnings as positive and perhaps targeting this level prior SVB bank failure. So overall, XLF 1% in the green. We need financials to support the economy and banks to do well for us to avoid recession. And this is quite good to see. XLF is approaching this level of 36 before the banking sector failures. And this is good news for the overall market. Now, Microsoft Bing Chat AI bot now lets you search using images. Today, Microsoft announced a significant update to its artificial intelligence chatbot, Visual Search. And not only that, remember, AI Catalyst is insane momentum. Microsoft goes beyond OpenAI and makes Meta's new AI model available to Azure customers. Microsoft announced today also the new language software at an Inspire conference today. Meta spokesperson said the company is not focused on monetization, but the business would need to pay Microsoft for the enterprise hosting capabilities. So I think this is a lot of potential income and revenue for Microsoft, and also leveraging AI chatbot using Visual Search is a good hit for Microsoft. And let me tell you, Microsoft move was unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is the daily. Remember, we were in the context of two rejections, double top into all-time highs, but we were at these levels, sell off into the open. A lot of Nasdaq tech stocks suffered the same. We were trying to recover, and then the news went out, and basically Microsoft started trading like a small cap penny stock. Insane move, 5% on the day. Trying to, I think a lot of people is taking profits. Most of these people, I think it's basically investing, it's not trading. And Nasdaq was a little bit hesitant at the beginning because Apple is minus 0.60 on the day, with active trending lower highs, lower lows. Apple is not convincing traders, and we are right below all-time highs. So Apple being weak today, same for Tesla, suffering in the open, now trying to reclaim a little bit of those, still in the negative, mostly flat. Amazon also in the red, 0.34. This was a beautiful zone down here, because this black box is the gap behind, and look at this, it filled the gap and it reversed. We can remove this gap, we are going to do that later, but let me tell you, this gap fill on the daily and their accumulation, consolidation, and then starting up, this is an active trend, higher lows, higher highs. Maybe we see support at the EMA, but this gap fill was beautiful. This is the kind of things that you have to look for when trading with technical analysis. Google also in the red, almost 1%. I think this is after the breakout. This is a small pullback. It's a big hit, 1% in the red for Google today. But look at this structure. This structure is building pressure towards this kind of move. And remember, yesterday I was waiting for this kind of move. I told you that we were going to have a big move, and we did it. If we check the Nasdaq yesterday, I was being really patient at these levels, and we started trading later on. And today was the same thing until Microsoft hit the fan. We started going lower due to Apple, Google, Amazon being weaker. We tried to support in these levels of the 30-minute chart. We had this level. I was watching that. The first 30-minute candle was quite surprising, buying support. And then Microsoft news were released, and look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a lot of green candles. So despite the fact that Apple is still in the red quite heavily, and only Microsoft and Nvidia are pushing this market, Nasdaq is feeling pretty good. And 15,944, I honestly think that 16,000 up here, it's on the table for today's close. I think AI catalyst, AI momentum from Microsoft and perhaps Apple might do some tricks down here to try to finish the day green. Google is also building pressure at this level because I really think, look at this, I really think this pressure at these levels is going to break a lot of shorts, and we might see this move. If we see this move, Nvidia continues pushing, Meta is doing its job paired with Microsoft news. They are pushing the Nasdaq, so we need Apple and Google, and if you are waiting for that, have patience because I think Nasdaq might continue higher to reach 16,000. Dollar is still in the green today, but we are just seeing a relief bounce still. I don't see why sellers should cover down here. We might see some continuation to the dollar to the downside. We are below parity, below 100 right now. And yields are mixed. The 2-year yield push a little bit higher, the 10-year in the red, but overall, if we check the probabilities with the FedWatch tool, we are still in the same situation. That is almost 100% of probabilities of a new rate hike, 25 basis points in July meeting, and then flat until March next year, in which with 40% of probabilities are pricing in a 25 basis point cut. So higher for longer, we are going to be at the terminal rate, supposedly 525, 550 until the end of the year, and next year, not in January, in March, we are going to start cutting rate. This is what analysts and the markets are pricing in. And that's all. I would like to finish with some news that usually don't happen quite often. So let me first share with you the news. You should know that, let me zoom in a little bit, Nasdaq is being rebalanced. That means that the index weights are going to shift from higher to lower, and it's going to rebalance not only the weight, but also the market. It's going to affect the market cap and also the flow impact. And for the ones trading today, Microsoft, check this. Microsoft is going to change from 12.8% index weight on the Nasdaq 100 to 9.8. So 300 bits, 3% of weight is going to change, and that is going to affect, the impact is 7.4 billion in the negative. So be really careful trading Microsoft because this kind of shakeout might affect the volatility in Microsoft and also in Apple. From 12.1 to 11.5, not that much. 56 basis points, 1.4 billion impact in the flow. But check the rest. Google from 7.6 to 5.7, 200 basis points. Another 160 for Amazon. Nvidia almost 300. 300 basis points, 7.5 billion in flow impact. So take this into account. This is going to happen this week on Friday close. On Friday close, Nasdaq is going to be rebalanced, and on Monday, we are going to see the changes. So do your own due diligence, analyze your positions, analyze your forecasts, because this only happened a couple of times in the history of the index, and it's worth your attention. So, and I think that's all. One last check to the Nasdaq to see if we are continuing higher. We are slowly grinding higher. Let's see if Google broke out. Google still building pressure. I'm waiting for that and for Microsoft to do this kind of thing, try to trap some shorts and then squeeze higher. And if Apple reverses a bit, that is trying to build some structure, and Google breaks out of this huge consolidation down here to the upside, we are going to see nice momentum on the Nasdaq and perhaps reaching 16,000 up here. So that's all from my side. As always, thank you for your time. If you found this video useful, please give it a like, support the channel, subscribe to the channel, because I upload every single day videos for market forecasts, market updates, and market recaps. I appreciate your time as always. Remember that the trading day is not over yet. We are finishing lunch hour at 2 p.m. into the afternoon. I think today is worth watching into the power hour to see watching Google, Apple. If they push higher, Nasdaq may reach 16,000 and you might have some opportunities to the downside. Remember that discipline and risk management are key for your success. Stay safe, everyone, and see you tomorrow.